From cute to killer, it's no mean feat. But mini-monsters are born in all shapes and sizes. Before them all lies a long, tough path of training. They must master their mother's skills until they too are equipped to go in for the kill. Many killers start out cute. Despite their predatory inheritance, fluffy cheetah cubs and polar bears would melt the hardest hearts. The cubs are a fraction of the size of their mother, and with barely a glimpse of weapons that will someday be used to grapple prey. While others emerge as miniature versions of their parents. The Nile crocodile hatches ready to hunt, and with a face that only its mother could love. She's a diligent parent, and for all our babies, it will be the encouragement and protection of Mum. And sometimes years of training that will push them to develop to become the ultimate killing machines. Around the globe, babies of all shapes and sizes are born to a predetermined destiny. To live, grow, and have babies of their own. They are all obliged to kill. It will be an intense childhood. There will be time for fun and games, but also failure and grave danger. But for those who succeed, a glorious future awaits at the top of the food chain. Not much of a training pen for the biggest and most feared land predator. Polar bears are born in Arctic winter, in a time of perpetual darkness. When they start out, the cubs are smaller than a stick of butter. Blind and helpless, they spend their first few months suckling from their mother. The milk is 35% fat, one of the richest power drinks on Earth. On this diet, the cubs quickly fill out. In just a few months, they are 10 times heavier and ready to explore the world outside the den. The mother starts to dig. Their first fresh air. And for the first time, they can gaze out on their windswept Arctic home. Though the youngest daughter seems unsure about stepping outside. There is no tougher environment on Earth. To make a living among the ice, the cubs will need to toughen up. Here, anything is a potential food source. Though every other Arctic animal lives in fear of polar bears, right now the cubs are bottom of the food chain and will need their mother's protection for several years while they learn to stand their ground. They don't seem in any rush to grow up. The snow-capped tundra is a giant playground that the kids are keen to explore. These early days seem carefree. With their mum on guard and with her rich milk on tap, they have little to worry about. Despite living on Easy Street, the cubs still squabble. Perhaps the first hint of their killer instinct. Right now, their main hunting quarry is Mum's milk supply. It's enough to test any mother's patience. But the cubs need to build up their strength, ready for the challenges of the Arctic. Amid huge game herds on the African plains, a pride of lions are on the prowl. They fan out, looking for a likely victim. The cheetah has inadvertently found herself in the middle of the lion's hunting party. This is a dire position to be in, with 5 young cubs. The lions are distracted from the hunt when they pick up the scent of a competitor. Many predators will attack other hunters. They don't want to have to share their prey. The cubs are active now, but not very fast. They spread out, trying to hide in the bush. But the lions are persistent. It calls for drastic measures. The mother must lure them away, and that means putting her own life on the line. But she's outnumbered, and she can't be everywhere at once. As quickly as it started, the attack stops. The frightened mother leads her infants away. But there's one that didn't make it. A grim reality of life on the plains. But as far as the lioness is concerned, the dead cheetah cub means one less competitor to threaten the success of her own offspring. The cheetah's lucky not to have lost more of her family. It's been a tough lesson for them all. In these lion-ruled lands, as few as 10% of cheetah cubs will make it to adulthood. Predatory animals start out small and vulnerable. But keeping your babies safe when they start out as defenseless eggs is a full-time job. The nests attract egg thieves from far and wide. Nile monitor lizards, intent on scrambled egg, skirt the banks. She moves surprisingly fast, but there's trouble on all sides. After a near miss from the jaws of death, the monitor needs a drink. Even cold-blooded reptiles can get too hot in Africa. Soon, he's back on his game. But while he's been away, a new enemy has arrived to torment Mother Croc: baboons.
Baby killers can come in all shapes and sizes. Our closest relatives are often thought of as fruit-loving vegetarians, but that's far from the truth. Like us, chimps are omnivores and enjoy the taste of meat. They can truly be considered primate pack hunters. But they don't start out that way. Newborn chimps are totally helpless and dependent on their mother's care. Right from birth, the little ones are carefully coaxed. To become successful members of the troop, they must prove themselves as worthy team players. Chimp society is led by several dominant males. They rule with an iron fist, and everyone lower down the social ladder is expected to follow their command. But although they can be heavy-handed and aggressive, there is also a tender side to the powerful primates. They live by the rule, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. They spend much of their time grooming each other. They are doting mothers, sharing a close bond with their infants for 6 years. Like humans, the young are helpless, totally dependent on their mothers, and will learn everything through her guidance and teaching. The whole troop plays a role in guarding and educating babies, and they need to. To hunt, they must work as part of an efficient team. The troop are acutely aware of the other creatures of the forest. They patrol their territories, listening for signs of life and keeping a close eye on the trees. They are looking for their neighbors. Especially monkeys. Red colobus monkeys are their favorites. But this is not a friendly invitation to dinner. The older, wiser animals are the sentinels, and they know exactly what to do. This monkey may regret his morning excursions. When a group is spotted, excitement spreads around the troop. They know the drill. Each animal has a role to play, and like a well-oiled machine, they slip into place. Light, fast animals head to the trees to drive the monkeys. Older, slower ones block their escape routes. And the big, powerful males get ready to make the kill. The colobus know they are in danger. One false move, and the troop will be ready. Chaos breaks out as they go in for the kill. The dominant animals eat first. Lower-ranking individuals beg for scraps. The meat is only shared strategically, in return for favors like grooming or helping to defend the troop. For now, the little ones stay out of the way. They'll master the plant part of their diet first. But sooner or later, they'll need to take their places with the troop, driving monkeys to dinner. Little killers have a lot to learn about the dangers of their world. They must learn which fights they can win.
For the jaguar cub, a hunt in the Amazon is a frightening prospect. His mum favors hunting another killer, the caiman.
But for now, the little one needs to steer clear of the lethal jaws.
In East Africa, it's crocodiles who rule the banks. And for the hard-working mother, her little killers are finally making their first appearance. She gently ferries her babies to the water, tenderly carrying them between her killer teeth. But now, another danger threatens to cut their hunting potential short. A larger female. She grabs the hatchlings in her mouth. But she's not out to kill them. She wants to mother them. Perhaps the rare behavior has been triggered because she lost a clutch of her own. Mum's not happy about it. This is a deadly embrace. If she bites too hard, she risks harming the babies in the intruder's mouth. She has to back down and let the intruder muscle in on her brood. They each grab a mouthful of hatchlings. A few eggs didn't hatch, giving the monitor lizard a lucky break. Normally, young crocodiles would have their mother watching over them for their first year or two of life. These chicks have double security. Bodyguards are something the cheetah family could use. Cheetahs are the smallest of the large predators on the plains. They must learn not only to catch their prey, but avoid the bigger bullies as well. Now 3 months old, her cubs are strong walkers. They have no fixed den and wander the plains, camouflaged by their shaggy juvenile manes. For them to go from cub to killer, they have some vital life lessons, which can only be fueled by their mother. Gazelles are one of the fastest animals on the plains, but Mum makes it look easy. She barely seems to break a sweat. She drags the carcass to cover, where the cubs can feed. Though they still drink milk, they are developing a taste for flesh.
For little hunters, it can be frustrating. They know what they want, they just don't know how to get it. The lion cubs have found a meaty treat, but it's wrapped in tough packaging. Their baby teeth can't penetrate the tortoise's thick shell. The killer instinct is there, but not the skills to go with it. The cubs need to do some serious training.
There would be no killers in the making without the hard work of killer mothers. At around 5 weeks old, red foxes are ready to make the milk-to-meat transition. So Mum hunts regularly, bringing goodies back to the burrow and fueling their taste for blood. They are clearly enthusiastic for this new food. Other cubs are into even fresher meat. High in the Andes, a guanaco, the llama's wild ancestor, drops her calf into the cold and rugged land. But even on the ceiling of the world, predators lurk, watching for the weak and vulnerable. There's no sport in it. The newborns, easy prey. But small game like this is perfect for training purposes. The calves delivered alive. the next step in making killers of her cubs. Mum won't help, but by trial and error, the cubs manage to finish the job and can enjoy their first self-killed meal. And who can resist playing with their food? It will take them a few more months of training, but the cubs have taken their first big step towards graduating killer school. Polar bears, on the other hand, take their time. Opportunistic by nature, the family rely on their noses to find food. Only 2 of the 3 cubs have survived, but in the Arctic, this family is beating the odds. Typically, only half of polar bear cubs make it to maturity, a reminder of the challenges of their hostile world. During the Arctic summer, the ice sheets retreat, and the bear family is left high and dry. Without ice, they can't get out and hunt their usual seal prey, so have to beachcomb for scraps. The family strike it lucky. The carcass of a walrus. Another mother got there first. Our female approaches carefully. She doesn't want to risk losing another cub. But the carcass is fresh, with lots of rich blubber. For both groups, it's better to share than risk bloodshed. Summer is tough on the ice bears, and they rely more and more on their ability to eat anything. A huge carcass of a whale is a rare find, a valuable resource that will bring bears from far and wide. Polar bears prefer to be solitary, but a bear jam soon forms. There is stiff competition, but the carcass is huge. So as long as a hierarchy is observed, with the big males eating first, then everyone can get a share. By the end of summer, hungry bears are lining up along the coast, waiting for the sea ice to form. Excitement spreads when the first snowstorms roll in. The big males are restless. This is a dangerous time for young bears. Male polar bears often kill cubs to take away the offspring of other males, so they can try to mate with the mothers, or even sometimes for food. But bears are some of the most fearless and devoted mothers. At the first hint of trouble, she gives the intruder the clear message to back down. To relax, the family have a snow bath. They'll soon have thousands of miles of sea ice to spread out over, with plenty of new opportunities to hunt and the chance to get away from other bears. With their 2 giant bodyguards, the crocodile hatchlings thrive. As long as the truce between females lasts, the babies are safe from the dangers of the riverbank, like monitors and even other crocs. They can focus on their main purpose in life. While other babies need years of training to become killers, crocs are good to go, straight from the egg. Miniature monsters, they stalk any small creatures they can swallow. As they get bigger, so too will their tastes. Two years have passed, and as our polar bears venture onto the ice for their 3rd winter, something's changed. There is no longer a sense of camaraderie. The squabbles are a sure sign that it's time for the youngsters to go their own ways. This will be a baptism of fire. 6 months of cold and darkness lie ahead. But after 3 years of watching and mimicking their mothers, the bears are ready to make a stand. The first heavy snowstorm finds the young male out on the ice floes. A seal locked into his sights. Another killer is made. The female cheetah cub, also now 2 years old, is alone. Her brothers, on the other hand, have a huge advantage. They are still together in what's known as a coalition. Together they scent mark, presenting a united front. By working as a team, they are better able to defend a home range from other males, giving them a monopoly on females and the prey animals within their patch. There are other advantages of group hunting as well. One brother distracts the aggressive male ostrich, leaving his chicks unguarded. Crocodiles are not warm-blooded like the mammal killers and grow a lot slower. It will take the hatchlings 10 years to reach maturity. Meanwhile, they have a hard time fitting into a crowded river. Now, without protection from an adult, they have spread out, trying to claim patches where they can hunt. But all the best bits are already taken by bigger, aggressive adults. But dashing between the jaws, this youngster manages to snatch a catfish. So far, just a catfish killer, the solitary croc has a long way to go. But now, the cheetah gang is moving on to larger prey. No single cheetah would dare risk an attack on the wildebeest herd. A single animal can weigh 180 kilos, 3 times more than the agile cats. The brothers fan out, looking for a suitable target, and strike. With 4 against 1, it's soon over. If there is ever a symbol of becoming a killer, it has to be in tackling another predator as prey. After several years of intense training, the jaguar's come a long way. He now weighs over 80 kilos, and it's mostly muscle. And with the meal he has in mind, he'll need his strength. The great reptiles are wary. Timing is everything, and patience is his greatest ally. This could make or break either killer. The jaguar can't let go of the caiman's neck. If he does, he could receive a fatal bite. But if he holds on, he risks drowning. It takes all of his strength to push the caiman under, working his canine teeth into its spine. Paralyzed, the victim drowns. And the killer gets its stripes. A huge meal like this ensures that this big cat will be well fed for a week. But it's just a matter of time before he'll need to confront this dangerous dinner again. Not all crocodiles are such pushovers. Finally, the crocs in Africa have gone full circle, now as big and powerful as their killer mum.
The drying plains are bringing game animals to drink, and perhaps leading them to a watery grave. They have little idea of the stealthy ambush hunters that lie in wait. With their eyes, ears and nose high on their heads, the great reptiles can lie low. The highly strung gazelles seem nervous about the murky water. But to reach fresh grazing, they will eventually need to cross. It took nurturing and practice, but from the day they hatched, the crocodiles were born to do this. They were killers in the making. Life's about taking chances. For some creatures, it's just getting from A to B. Every day, plant eaters run a gauntlet of predators. But there are some that push their luck. If they run into trouble, they have nothing but their wits and instinct to guide them. Luckily, sometimes that's enough. And when those emergency responses kick in, it can lead to some of nature's greatest escapes. Safety can be found beneath the ground, at least for a family of hamsters. They excavated their own palatial estate with multiple chambers. Now 4 weeks old, the youngsters are getting a bit big to bunk together. They need to start exploring the wider world. Virtually anything green is worth a nibble, as the little ones complete their transition from milk to an adult diet. But the outside world can be a dangerous place. A rodent slayer, a polecat, picks up their scent. The lithe predator tries breaking and entering. This entrance is a bit small, but he has a plan B.
With a bendy body, he moves like a pipe cleaner through the tunnels. He's in. The nesting chamber's full of the scent of hamsters, but the litter has gone. The natural world is full of escape artists, and they deploy all manner of tricks to get out of a tight spot. The Amazon jungle is full of deadly hunters. Some might run from the threat, but not this cool customer. A snake flicks out its tongue to gather scent and locate its prey. But its vision is based on movement. It can smell the frog, but as long as it keeps still, the snake can't see it. It escapes unseen. Some larger animals rely on the same technique. Roe deer fawns are weak and vulnerable at birth. Mother keeps a close eye on the baby, but when she needs to feed, she relies on the fawn to sit tight, lying low and waiting for her to return. But the little one's fidgety. Mum spots danger from the bushes. Her barks a clear instruction to her fawn. It needs to hide. The fox has caught a scent. Luckily, its cover has worked. The fox settles for a mouse. And the fawn can make its way home.
An African riverbank doesn't look like a good place to lay delicate eggs, but this is the nesting site for a Nile crocodile.
The hippo heavyweights are not interested in the clutch, only in a sunny spot on the bank where they can rest. Another close call. Escapes aren't always executed by running. An adder is on the prowl. But weighing less than a coin, the tiny harvest mouse can even climb blades of grass. It's soon out of reach of the snake. On the grasslands of East Africa, a cheetah mother stands guard while her cubs play. The cubs are well fed and contented, but having the remains of their last meal nearby is making their mother nervous. An easy meal rarely goes unnoticed on the plains. She watches nervously as the vultures descend. The birds fight angrily with each other, but they are not a threat to the cheetahs. However, the squabbling flock is like a beacon to other scavengers. The heavier hyena has a bone-crushing bite force that would make short work of the cubs. Cheetahs are built for speed. Unlike other cats, they lack retractable claws, and so are less adept at climbing. But with the threat from below, they scramble out of reach. Luckily, the hyenas kept busy chasing vultures. And with the coast clear, the family can make their escape. One of the biggest survival challenges is winter itself. Some animals migrate or hibernate to escape the cold. But for those who are left behind, it's tough. Food is in short supply, and every opportunity to eat must be taken. With its built-in feathery snowshoes, the ptarmigan is light on its feet. For a hungry fox, it's too inviting to resist. But when it comes to quick getaways, the ptarmigan leaves the fox with an empty stomach. In this land of ice, another winter wanderer has a lucky break. With its sensitive nose, the mink discovers the body of a fish. In a land of ice, every meal counts. But it doesn't go unnoticed. A buzzard drops in for lunch. Luckily, the mink has emergency exits for times like this.
In the scrubland forests of Africa, another hunter is on the prowl. The continent's largest snake, a rock python. This one's about 5 meters long, but its relatives have been known to reach an incredible 7.5 meters. Pythons are excellent climbers, using muscular contractions of their bodies and rows of angled scales on their bellies to grip any surface. The flicking tongue tastes the air, its primary way of locating food. Like all snakes, it lacks ears, but can feel vibrations through its body. Pythons don't have fangs or venom like smaller snakes. They are constrictors, using their powerful bodies to squeeze their prey. And the loose bones of their skull are hinged, so they can expand their jaws and swallow animals many times the size of their own heads. Prey up to the size of antelope and wild pigs can be on the menu, so all the creatures of the forest watch out for this deadly threat. Guinea fowl are like wild chickens and are the perfect snack to many African predators. To try and combat the threat, they live in noisy flocks, clucking to help keep the group together. As they feed, there is always at least one bird on the lookout for danger. The python picks up their scent. Pits around the end of his nose can detect the heat of his warm-blooded prey, helping him hone in on his target. His eyes are cloudy as he's preparing to shed his skin, something reptiles do throughout their lives as they grow. He's totally dependent on his other senses. But the guinea fowl don't flee. They want to tackle the threat head on. If they can see the snake, it's harder for it to lunge and take them by surprise. With its compromised senses, it can't tell where one bird ends and the next begins. Perhaps intimidated by this show of solidarity, the python is hesitant about attacking. Teamwork has led to an escape for the guinea fowl. And the snake retreats to the mud to help soak off its dead skin.
The South American summer drains its grasslands. Fish are caught out in the shallows, and soon all manner of fish eaters arrive to take advantage of them. The top predators, armed with power tooth-filled jaws, are the caiman. The crocs line up, corralling the fish together. A few fish escape one set of jaws, but likely leap into another. But they are not the only killer in the swamp. The jaguar, the muscular big cat of South America. Here, the hunter can easily become the hunted. Only the alert will escape. Cliffs towering over the Arctic seas are alive with nesting seabirds. The long hours of sunlight bring creatures from all over the world. Birds cling to every ledge. But even in the Arctic summer, the weather is unpredictable. And when sea ice is washed against the shore, it creates a problem for baby birds. Something that doesn't go unnoticed by an Arctic fox. A mure chick has leapt from the cliff. Not yet ready to fly, it intended to jump into the sea. Now escorted by its father, it's a race for life. Like a duck to water, the chick's in its element. And the fox must return to its own. Many birds nest high to be out of the reach of predators. But for some youngsters, that can mean a scary journey down. Barnacle geese, another Arctic cliff nester. But living further inland, they now have the challenge of getting their young to water. They are running out of time. The local gulls have spotted the fragile goslings. Trapped against the cliffs, they are an easy target. The parents do their best to drive them away. It's time to go, and there is only one escape: down. The parents lead the way. Bravely, the first chick takes the plunge. Then another. The third misjudges his jump and takes a tumble. He's a bit dizzy, but all in one piece. The geese can't be everywhere at once, and now with more of their clutch at the bottom than the top, they must keep the family moving. One gosling hesitated too long, but 4 out of 5 have made it. Once they've reached water, their chances of survival increase. A quick getaway is what it's all about. Grasshoppers are a tasty treat to many insect eaters, and so need to keep their wits about them. A green lizard. But the cricket's legs are like a coiled spring. When folded, its knee joint is under tension, storing up energy, so when the leg is relaxed, the tension can catapult it into the air. Its meter leap would be the equivalent of a human jumping 40 meters from a standing position. But if the hop doesn't outsmart the attacker, then it also has a pair of wings to assist in its getaway. Not all crickets have wings, an easier option for the lizard. Many of the greatest escapes are to evade a predator. It doesn't look like it would be too hard to get away from a sleepy wildcat. But the scramble of squirrels brings him instantly to his senses. The acrobatic rodents are perfectly at home on the vertical trunks, using needle-sharp claws to grip the bark. The cat makes his approach, but the inhabitants of the tree are wary. Still, the squirrels must keep active, hiding the nuts that will see them through winter. With padded feet, he can stalk in silence. The cat can leap 3 meters into the air. But he still can't outpace the speedy squirrel. In Japan, sika deer can also use water to escape, but they must return to the hillside to graze. The autumn rut has begun, and the herd has hormones on their minds. Young bucks are starting to practice their sparring techniques. They don't notice a bear family nearby. With 2 hungry mouths to feed, it's a constant struggle for the mother to find enough food, especially now as summer's drawing to an end. The bears will sleep through winter, but need to build up their fat reserves in order to make it through their slumber party. A deer would offer a meaty feast that would boost the babies' bodies, readying them to retire. But the cubs don't seem to understand the importance of stealth. The mum makes a last-ditch attempt, but the game's up. The bears have blown their cover, and the deer make their escape. She tries once more. Bears can run as fast as a horse, but uphill, she can't catch up with the agile deer. The bears will have to turn their attention to leaves and berries, meals that are much less likely to escape. A peaceful scene on the African savannah. A small herd of wildebeest and zebra make their way to a waterhole. But they are being watched. Not just by the giraffes, but by a pride of lions as well. The pack hunters are setting an ambush, spreading out to trap the herd. A coordinated attack that few animals could escape. Unless they have some help from the outside. Herd animals often stick close to giraffes. Like watchtowers, they are excellent at keeping an eye on goings-on. They spot the unfolding plan. With advanced warning of the attack, the entire herd has the chance to make tracks. It's always good to have friends in high places when you are plotting an escape. The hungry lions can but watch as their lunch walks off. A stormy night has kept a litter of fox cubs inside their den to escape the weather. Though over a month old, everything still seems new and frightening to the young foxes. It takes their mother's milk to lure them out into the morning sun. They only have a few weeks left of this rich food supply, and so lap it up. But as their interests start turning towards solid foods, so too does their sense of independence grow. If they are not playing, using each other as target practice, then they are exploring the woods and looking for prey. A red squirrel's gathering nuts for its winter store, and the experimental cub tries the same. But the rustling of a mouse is a target too tempting for any fox cub to ignore. The pursuit is leading him further from the den, and the woods can be a dangerous place. Lynx often prey on young foxes. But luckily, the family have a bolt hole where they can escape. The smaller you are, the more you have to watch your back, or find someone to watch it for you. Meerkats are all about cooperation, and it's just as well. The plains of Namibia are full of danger. When eagles are overhead, the troop takes shelter in their extensive burrow system, with just a brave sentinel watching the enemy and letting the rest of the gang know when it's safe to emerge. But there is a far greater foe in the neighborhood. A jackal gets everyone on edge. The meerkats almost seem to be playing a game of chicken. They need to keep the predator in sight, but not go too far from their nearest bolt hole. The jackal needs an element of surprise if it's to succeed, and tries to conceal itself in the long grass. But the meerkats know its tricks. The little dog's cunning is no match for the colony's combined forces. By the time it reaches the den, the troop are safely underground. They have multiple tunnels and chambers, keeping them well out of harm's way. Success for any predator is far from assured. Dozens of migrating wildebeest crowd the waterhole. Crammed close together, their many hooves kicking up dust, they can barely make out their surroundings. The perfect time for an ambush. Even the king of beasts sometimes gets it wrong. The waterhole is the perfect place for an ambush. With thick scrub, the cats can spread out among the herd unseen. The migrating wildebeest are thirsty. Getting to water is the only thing on their minds. But they are not the only animals around the waterhole. There are eyes in the skies, or at least the canopy. Sharp-eyed birds and monkeys sound the alarm. Chaos breaks out, and the lions are unable to regain their advantage. For the herd, it's a lucky escape. Plant eaters can't afford to drop their guard, but they've got to put their heads down to eat. Without herd mates to keep an eye out for him, this Grant's gazelle hangs out by some ostriches. With long necks and huge eyes, they are usually quick to spot danger. The mother cheetah is feeling the pressure to make a kill. She has hungry mouths to feed. The perfect getaway. The disappointed cubs wonder where dinner is. Predators kill to make a living, but for every kill they make, many other potential victims will get away. The rest of the herd continue their journey, but at the base of the food chain, the wildebeest are going to need more than luck on their sides if they are to survive the migration. Living near the equator, water is everything. It drives the animal's movements. But the same life-giving liquid can hide a deadly surprise. Every time they encounter a waterhole, they pile in. Hundreds of thirsty animals block each other into ever tighter spaces. But it's not a good idea to block your escape route. They seem to sense the danger. They are alert and nervous, but also thirsty. The crocodiles know they just need to bide their time. The bull fights with all his might. Other crocodiles are drawn in to help dispatch the victim. It seems that all is lost. But the crocodile lets go. A lucky escape. Perhaps it just wasn't this bull's time. Jumpy from the attack, the wildebeest are expecting the next strike, but they can't resist the urge to quench their thirst. Sooner or later, they must drink. And this time, the crocodiles are not so forgiving. With top speeds of more than 20 kilometers per hour and over 2,000 kilos of pressure in its bite, the crocodiles are relentless. But even for all the crocodile's might, there are still escapees. The young wildebeest leaps for all it's worth. You can't win them all. Even the most effective predators have bad days. There will always be great escapes. Whatever walk of life, from bug
to bear. We are all under threat. Every second, somewhere, something goes wrong for an animal. There's a fight or an attack. What decides our fate? Is it predetermined who lives or dies? Or do we take our chances, living our lives, constantly, seconds from disaster? Plumes of smoke, a volcano, warning of impending disaster. A new day is dawning over the African plains. It's the start of something big. The animals seem to anticipate a change in the air. The wildebeest have arrived. Millions of them swarm onto the plains every summer. They are here to give birth. Within the space of a few weeks, hundreds of thousands of babies are delivered. A happy event, or a reminder of the challenges of life? Many of these young animals won't live long. Is it a question of fate that determines who lives and who dies? Are the successes and failures of these babies predetermined? Already, some of the youngsters are seconds from disaster. This mother's made a good decision and delivers her calf right into the center of the herd. Could it be that he and his mother are destined for a long and happy life? Or will he have to face the many dangers of the plains alone? Alert members of the capybara family watch over the herd. These giant rodents enjoy nothing more than basking on the banks of the Amazon River. But the dense vegetation and murky waters harbor many threats. Several males watch over the females and young. The babies in the herd form a creche, hanging out together to play. Though they were able to eat grass from just a week old, they will suckle for 4 months. The mothers in the group will suckle other pups, not just their own. It seems like a blissful life, but in the Amazon, there are many predators, and the plump-bodied capybaras are a favorite prey. The pint-sized pups ought to spend more time looking out for danger and less time annoying the adults. It's this type of distraction that can spell disaster.
Thanks to the 500,000 newborns, the Serengeti herd has swollen to around 2 million. They are doing well, but there are a lot of mouths to feed. The plains can only produce a limited amount of grass. And so more than predators, accidents or natural disasters, the biggest threat to the wildebeest's lives is running out of food. 75% of all deaths are caused by starvation. For that reason, the herd must keep on the move, making sure they don't stay too long and overgraze any one place. The masses of megafauna attract an abundance of predators. Cheetahs are famous for their speed, but to achieve that title, they've had to sacrifice bulk. Lightweight and lanky, a single cheetah would really struggle to tackle a wildebeest. But male cheetahs, usually brothers from the same litter, form coalitions. Now with combined might, they confidently approach any prey. Patrolling the herd, they look for any signs of weakness. The female puts up a good fight, but she can't fend off all three attackers. Disaster could be around the corner for any member of the herd, but today, this unlucky one will feed the cheetahs, meaning the rest of the herd will live to see another day.
From equator to poles, babies are facing the challenges of life. Polar bears rule the Arctic, the unchallenged top predators. But even with one of the most formidable mothers on Earth, the future of these cubs is far from assured. There could be disaster around every corner.
The mother polar bear keeps her cubs close to her side, She knows how deadly the world can be. But the little ones are carefree. They don't seem to be aware of the risks. But disasters can occur anywhere, even right under their mother's nose. We all imagine predation to be the main threat to life, but more animals die from accidents than anything else. Worried sisters try to get the little female out, but the hole's too deep and slippery. At first, Mother doesn't seem to notice how close her family is to disaster. But the big sister rushes for help. Eventually, Mum gets the message. An expert in excavating snow caves, it doesn't take long for her powerful limbs to dig their way in and reunite the family.
Disasters can turn up at the most unexpected of times. A lion couple, in a romantic mood, decide to take some time out to get intimate. But on the dangerous plains, it's risky to drop your guard. Their lovemaking has attracted an audience. Lions are a deadly threat to buffalo, but when they are caught off guard, it's the giant cattle that have the upper hand. The lion tries to stand his ground, but then realizes he's losing his mate. The buffalo would like nothing more than to rid their home of a pair of pesky lions. And with over half a ton of angry, horn-tipped herbivore on their tail, the lions wisely retreat.
Foreboding skies create an atmosphere for the creatures of the Amazon. The capybara family is enjoying some time out of the water. Their favorite food is grass, and when the temperature isn't too hot, they leave the riverbank to graze. A caracara offers a pest control service, picking off fleas and ticks. But it doesn't work for free. It seems to take a drop of blood as payment for services rendered. The predatory bird is no threat to the family, but is not the only hunter on the prowl. The jaguar, the biggest cat on the continent, and for its size, the strongest and most muscular of all cats. Its favorite food? Capybara. Many birds hop around the capybara. They could make life difficult for the predator, offering an early warning system. But with the herd spread out to graze, there are fewer pairs of eyes watching over the crash. The capybara's main line of defense is to dive for cover. But the jaguar can also swim. Even the creche, the babysitters, or the watchful birds weren't enough. It's a fact of life that for all creatures, sooner or later, disaster will strike. Whether or not they survive is partly luck and partly good decisions. The mountains of East Africa stop the passage of clouds. Moisture can't get to the plains. As the landscape dries, the animals are feeling the pinch. They need to take action, keeping the herd on the move, going from waterhole to waterhole. But this one, like so many others, is drying up. Mud can be an unexpected enemy. Like quicksand, it sucks their bodies down. The smallest calves barely have the strength to pull themselves free. Fighting the mud may result in damaged limbs. But an animal that stays trapped risks starvation. And either way, it's a beacon to predators. Luckily, the lion pride has recently eaten and needs to rest up in the shade and digest. A moment's reprieve. Perhaps fate is smiling on our calf today. He manages to wriggle free. But now he faces a far greater threat. He's lost his mother. He tries to find comfort. He now faces a terrifying prospect. He can't survive without his mother's milk. Luckily, his mother is also looking for him. Their bond is strong, and neither will give up. Exhausted and thirsty, she finds him just in the nick of time. Disaster averted, they rejoin the herd. He's been lucky once, but for this little one, his challenges are just beginning. He needs to regain his strength, ready for the biggest and most dangerous journey of his young life. He'll need to keep up for over 1,000 kilometers. The Great Migration has begun. Another trek is getting underway. The polar bear family is on the move. The great bears spend their entire lives walking in an endless quest for food.
And to do that, they can find themselves walking on thin ice.
Sea ice that covers the Arctic during winter. It can be 20 meters deep. Despite the cold, the waters beneath are teeming with life, drawing in other polar specialists to breed. Ringed seals use their claws and teeth to carve out snow caves that they can use as a nursery. For their first few weeks, the pups will need to lie low. Their luxurious white fur keeps them warm, but only works when it's dry. So the pup must stay alone, while its mother uses holes in the ice to dive for fish. Though the seals are active hunters of fish, in this desolate landscape, there are many larger predators that would gladly have a seal supper. For now, the mother enjoys a brief respite from the cold seas, affording the pup a chance to feed. Seconds from disaster, the adult seal uses a breathing hole in the ice to disappear, leaving the helpless pup. The pups are designed to stay dry above water thanks to their woolly coats. But this brave pup's not afraid to take the plunge. His bravery saved his life. He's a bit cold, but alive.
It's an eat or be eaten world. Harmless animals do their best to lie low. Dickops are camouflaged, hoping to sit on their nest undetected. But there is one egg thief they can't fool. A hungry monitor lizard. It looks like a tragedy is imminent. But these feisty birds are not going to sit back and take it. They mob the monitor. Imposing wings and sharp beaks drive the message home. Another disaster averted. It doesn't matter how big or small you are. Every day you step out in search of food, you are putting yourself at risk. A scorpion, a top predator on the prowl. It hunts insects and other tiny prey. But like all animals, it too can be seconds from disaster. The bigger bug is a predatory praying mantis. In the jungle, a beetle seems set to meet another disaster. Praying mantis live all over the warmer parts of the world and are deadly hunters. Independently moving eyes and a swivel neck allow great precision. Spiny arms are drawn back, ready to strike. Instead of moving and blowing her cover, she freezes, letting her prey come to her. But she didn't spot another predator using the same camo technique to creep up on her. The master of disguise, the chameleon. Some creatures go to great lengths to try and avoid the dangers of the world. Various species of weaver bird construct elaborate nests, woven baskets to keep their precious youngsters safe. Their eggs and chicks will grow up in the baskets, out of the reach of most predators. But eventually the day will come when they have to fly the nest. A stealthy killer lurks in the reeds. This is a shoebill, an anomaly that looks like a giant bizarre stork, but is probably closer related to pelicans. Towering over a meter tall, its huge sharp beak, more than 20 centimeters of power, is designed to behead large fish and other animal prey. Its beady eyes have spotted movement. With patient stealth, it moves in. The weaver chicks are getting too big for the nest, but they are not quite ready to fly. A deadly moment to get their timings wrong. Disaster. Waterlogged and helpless, the chicks are sitting duck. The other chicks bide their time, but so does the shoebill. Out on the plains, hot, dry days cause storms to build. But to a dry grassland, lightning can spell disaster. It only takes a spark. The results spread like wildfire. Bushfires appear devastating, but they are a vital part of many ecosystems. They recycle nutrients by fertilizing the soil with ash. But regardless of their benefits to the landscape, they can spell disaster for the animals of the plains. Creatures that have size and speed on their side can outrun the flames. It's harder for the little guys. The wildebeest herd watches as their home goes up in flames. Marabou storks and other opportunists pace like undertakers along the edges of the blaze, waiting to snatch any small creatures flushed out by the fire or to pick over the carcasses of the dead. At ground level, it's carnage.
Once flames have swept across the plains, there is little for grazers like the wildebeest to eat. Once again, the herd must move on. The sun sets, but the wildlife remains illuminated by the destruction. There are still some that benefit from the death of others. A nocturnal bush baby emerges to snatch a barbecued cricket. By dawn, the fire's burnt itself out. Animals pick over the charred remains amid a fog of ash. Set adrift once more, the herds march on. Our growing calf still flanking his mother. Once they get clear of the scorched earth, dry grasses give the wildebeest a much-needed meal. But as they feed up and rest, new tribulations await. They have been herded together by the flames, something that doesn't go unnoticed by the local lions. One of these animals could be facing imminent disaster. The lioness creeps closer, keeping low, her sandy body hidden in the grass. Patience will be the key to her success. She needs to take her time, pick a victim wisely, and carefully choose the right moment to strike. She's a coiled spring, ready to pounce. She misjudged the power of her prey.
A kick from the hard, sharp hooves of a zebra can be fatal. This time, she was lucky. She might have lost her looks, but she'll survive. It was a close call. Her cubs came close to losing their mother. A reminder that it's not always predators who have the upper hand. The herbivores win one round, but a greater threat lies ahead. The drying plains are hard on the herds, but the summer's tough for these guys too. The river's drying up, and crocodiles are forced together, hungry, grouchy, fighting over every scrap and waiting impatiently for food to come. It's not a good place for a catfish to hang out. They know that a banquet will soon be served. They just have to sit tight and let it come to them. And it will come. To keep the vast herds fed, they must follow the rains across the plains to fresh grazing. No obstacles can stand in their way. The wildebeest know crocodiles hide in the rivers, but they have no choice. If they stay on the dry plains, they face death by starvation. They are hesitant, but failure is not an option. It just takes one to make the first move. The building pressure from animals at the back pushes the front line to take the plunge. The crocs move in. Success is not guaranteed, but there will be plenty more opportunities. With muscular tails, the crocodiles can launch with force and slam shut their gin-trapped jaws. It seems nothing can distract the wildebeest from their mission. The more animals in the water, the better each individual's chances of avoiding an attack. Of course, not all of them will make it. For everyone caught, hundreds make it across. It's their destiny to survive, and for those that don't, their bodies will ensure the crocodiles a healthy future too. Nothing in life is guaranteed. For any of these animals, disaster could be just around the corner. Luckily, many have made it through to another day.